What's up, and welcome to DreKenTalk. I am your host, DreKen, and today we have a very, very, very special guest. It's the lovely Miss Ebony Foster. Ebony, what's up? How you doing?
What's up, Trey? How are you?
Cooling like I cool, you know me. So, for y'all that don't know, Ebony is a 5-time ACC indoor and outdoor champion, a 4-time track and field indoor and outdoor All-American at the North Carolina State University. I was about to say the University of North Carolina State.
I'm so glad you got that together.
I got it right. You got to respect your school.
Super respect.
No doubt, but she's a tremendous athlete, and we're going to talk to you just a little bit about your athletic accomplishments. We're going to talk about what you're doing now. And, you know, we're going to talk about your time at JF. And also, she is a homegrown product from right around here. She went to JF. So, let's just talk about, when did you know that you was a phenom in the track world?
That's a big word, phenom, for me.
You're a 4-time All-American. That's phenomenal.
I knew that I had a talent when I was playing softball at JF. I'm still in bases. And then somebody said, the track coach is here to look at such and such. And I'm not thinking about me, because track is everybody's punishment. You get in trouble, you got to run track.
No doubt.
I'm still in bases, and after the game, he comes to me and he was like, hang your cleats up, you're going to be running track. And ever since then, it was that.
Just like that. Now, who was your track coach over there that discovered you? Because this man, he got to get some kudos, give him his flowers while he's here, you know? So, yeah, that's what we on.
So, it's Coach Robert Butler, and then we have Coach Jerome Lloyd. Okay.
And what did they mean to you and your development as a track athlete?
The development as a track athlete at JF, that's just a mouthful right there. Being able to find something that suited me as an athlete, being able to develop a talent that I didn't even know I had was pretty cool. The coaches there believed in me more than I believed in myself at the beginning, because again, I'm thinking track and field is everybody's punishment. I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna get ate up. Okay. But freshman year, I ended up being a state champion, and it just was history from there.
It was history from there, but yeah. So you know, you went from being a state champion. Talk to us about your recruiting process. Who recruited you, and what made you choose North Carolina State University Wolfpack? What's up, Charlie Wiles, coach defensive line for the Wolfpack, my dog.
Okay, so I say I'd have all the ACC schools recruiting, Big 10, Big 12.
Yeah,
right.
It used to be that. It's some
okay. Texas, UCLA, University of Southern Cal, just everywhere was recruiting me. And then I was talking to him earlier. It was close enough to where my parents couldn't pop up on me.
Okay.
But it was far enough.
Freedom!
Yeah. But it was close enough that if they needed to get to me, I could.
Yeah, no doubt.
And when they came to recruit me and I went up there for my official visit, it was a true family moment.
No doubt.
I felt like I was at home.
No doubt. And that's the thing with athletes I try to talk to them about, is like, when you go to these universities and these colleges, just know they're selling you something. Mm-hmm. But look for the things that actually you want. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing that you hear about when people choose colleges. Man, it was a family atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It was that. And that's important.
It's super important.
No doubt about it. So LSU, Texas, those some big time schools, mm-hmm. you know, and I know, you know, you hear about them all the time, and you know, you see like the stars come from them. What's the girl's name now? Sha'Carri Richardson and stuff like that. Like you wasn't as flamboyant as Sha'Carri, but you was fast. You was fast too. So just talk about your time there. You know, some of the meets, and like, what was your biggest accomplishment and your biggest meet when you was at State?
When I was at State, I did. In high school, it was completely different events. Okay.
So what you do in high school?
High school, I did the open 1, the 2, 4x1, 4x4. Sometimes the open 4, long triple. Just did everything under the sun. Yeah. When I went to NC State, everybody was running faster than me. Everybody state champions at this point, All-Americans. So it wasn't that I was reaching my maximum potential, but they wanted to see me try something different. So then I started to hurdle. And my first race, I broke the school record. Okay. And then by the third race, I was third at ACC.
Wow.
So.
Now, was this your earlier?
This was my freshman year.
Freshman year, true. Oh, that's wild.
My true freshman year.
Freshman year. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So, you started out the gate hot. You know, they put you on. You were All-American. Talk to us about how you got better and how you started taking on other things, if you did start taking on other events.
So I started taking on other events just because it was always good to have a warm body before you get to your main event. Yeah. So it's just like the prelims to the boxing matches. You always see the prelims and then you see the main event. So we had the 4x1, which we were ACC champions in, and then we would have the hurdle races and the open 100. Yeah. So I would do those, and then the hurdles would come, and then that would be that. But one of the biggest meets when I was in college probably was pin relays.
Pin relays, yeah. Saw a lot of that. You know, that's super big, right?
Yeah, super big. Yeah. We had pin relays and then USA champs.
Wow. So that's like the next step.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the crop. That's the cream of it.
That's part of our Super Bowl.
I can dig it. I can dig it. And you're speaking like the Super Bowl. So how many times did you actually go to you guys' Super Bowl, which is the pin races?
We went to pin relays, I'd say about every year.
Every year?
Every year I was there. That was the biggest, just like pre-season, like during the season race. But always NCAA's was the biggest race because for us, that is our Super Bowl. That's it. You see everybody in the country. You get to compete against the Shikaris and all of them. So that would probably be the biggest track meet, I would say. No
doubt. Now, being that you was in Carolina, you was free. You enjoyed the social time. As we all did enjoy the social time. And just talk to us about how you made time for your athletic products and then for your academics, and then how did you fit that social time in?
Well, because you're a fellow athlete, your day is scheduled from the time you go to bed to the time you wake up, except for when you're not at a meet or something heavy. So we would wake up, we would have practices in the morning, study hall, classes, study hall, practice, lunch, if you can ever eat it. Yeah. Your day was pretty much set. And you always had a network of family as your teammates.
No doubt.
So whenever we have free time, we always spend it with each other.
And you was down in Carolina when some of the prominent football stars was there too. So
we had the Phillip Rivers and the Mario Williams.
No doubt. So you ever kick it with them or holler at them?
Oh yeah, we all hung out. We were in the same cafeteria, same weight room for a while until they moved out. But yeah, we hung out with everybody did.
No doubt, no doubt. So yeah, we just trying to touch on everything because, like I said, you got an interesting story. Like you went from being a high school, all-state high school, to a 4-time All-American, 5-time ACC champ. Like now you have transitioned. It was a point in time where you had transitioned into training, and that's one thing I'm big on. If anybody got some type of training or some type of regimen or something that they do that they can pour out into kids, I always send them to them like, yo, go see her, go see him. They can do it for you. So just talk about your training and some of the methods you use and who you train and stuff like that.
So for a while I ran an after school program, so I didn't have a lot of time to do training, but now I'm teaching full time. So I coach at JF. Okay. And then we have summer league track where we do summer. It's like AAU basketball.
No doubt.
So we travel all over the East Coast, kind of, and just compete against other teams. We would do a lot of speed training. I specialize in hurdles, so we would do hurdles on specialty days. Yeah. Just stuff like that.
Just stuff like that. Now, you work with the little ones, and I know there's some dogettes and some dogs out there. But so just talk to us a little bit about some of them babies that we can look forward to.
Well,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, but I know,
Oh, it's a lot. Lynchburg is full of talent. That is one thing we've had talent in every sport. Yeah. You know that across the board.
Yeah.
Track right now, we got a girl that's really nasty.
Yeah.
At Heritage. She is a couple state champion. I don't remember. I think they said 12 maybe. Yeah. 12-time state champion.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, so she's getting recruited by all kind of people. Shout out to Alyssa Oaks. Hey, girl.
Alyssa Oaks. We'll get you on the show, Alyssa.
Yeah. And then we got Deuce from
Deuce Crawford. That's a good guy, man. Got a great family and all. Yeah.
JF got something to look out for. I'm trying to think. Glass got some good talent.
Yeah.
The little ones, we got a lot of kids coming up from Dunbar.
Yeah.
That are real nasty.
No doubt. So they run in your summer track program pretty much, and so you get a chance to like be hands on with all of these folks. Just tell us the feeling you get, because I know when I deal with kids in football and I see something come from nothing to a la Zach Rice. You know what I'm saying? And who knew it was gonna be big, but that's extreme. And I'm so proud of my boy. Shout out to my boy Zach Rice. But talk to us about that feeling that you get when you work with the kids.
The feeling, I think, when the kids actually get that aha moment. Yeah. Like, I get it. That's what really just makes me smile, makes my day, because then they'll come back to you. And I'm not a cloud chaser, so I don't even care if the head coach takes all the credit. Yeah, but when you see the kids...
They know.
Yeah, they know. When they get that aha moment where I finally get it. Yeah. And they perfect their craft, and they learn their craft, and they become masters at their craft. That's all you ever asked for. That's what you want. No doubt.
Now, not only are you an athletic person, you're a person with a big heart. Let's just talk about, you working with your after school program before, because we're going to get to what you're doing now, but let's just talk about your after school program you had. Tell us about it. Tell us if it's still going on, and how they can contribute or whatever.
Okay, so we had an after school program. It was actually grant based. So I wrote a grant, got $200,000. Started the program from the bottom to the top, meaning nutrition, transportation, hiring staff, field trips, any types of groups or clubs we wanted to be. So when I was there, you came and spoke. We had it a lot of times where we just wanted to show the city what we did when the lights were on.
No doubt.
And it was dark outside. So we worked on math and reading core subjects. We had tutoring for a couple hours, and then we had enrichment. Different enrichment activities included NASA training. They work with Amazement Square on certain things. Yeah. You just speak with different people in the community, different walks of life, learn how to just create a different balance for kids. Yeah. Make them a full person.
Yeah. That different walk of life thing is good, because, it's important showing them kids like something different. And you've been hands-on with these kids, and you've seen the effects of everything. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was telling them, like, it's a lot of these kids that's been seen things or heard things or something, and their reaction and their state of mind is similar to somebody that has the post-traumatic. It's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. We have a lot of traumatic kids.
Yeah, and I see that. I know you see that firsthand. Just talk to us a little bit about some of that stuff. I know you can't go into details, right, but just talk to us a little bit about some of that stuff and how you guys programs wanted to change that cycle.
Right. So you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of kids out here that's seen and done a lot of stuff that us as adults can't fathom. Yeah. The hungry, the growing up, and the raising their own family, the fatherless, the motherless, to see people pass away in front of them. Yeah. It's a number of things out there here in our little city.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in my after school program, we just worked on trying to provide any type of need, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's helping parents with interviews or GEDs or whatever the community needed. Yeah. Yeah. We just try to touch all needs.
So you guys actually help the parents as well? Like the parents are how did that go? How receptive of that were they?
Dillon in Lynchburg City Schools, it seems like that is where we need to bridge the gap. Yeah. Is with the parents. Because my thing is, I'm not going to have a bunch of stuff set up that I think that they need. I want to know from their perspective what they need. So it was kind of tough to try to bridge that gap, but we would go out to the communities. We would go to Greenfield. What's it called now?
James Crossing. Yeah.
Excuse me. And then, we would just
shout out to James Crossing.
We would just go out and try to figure out what they needed.
Yeah.
We would provide transportation. Yeah. Just different stuff. We would just try to meet them where they wanted to be.
Yes. So that, and that's one thing I have I ain't gonna say I have a problem with it because at the end of the day, somebody doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is that a lot of these programs are kind of like generic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit.
Like you know, it's like rules and stuff that you got from years ago. You still, it just doesn't fit right now.
Mm-hmm.
So by you guys, you know, I know you guys took time out to just figure out each one of your kids and the parents and their needs and stuff like that, and just talk about how that evaluation go.
So we would always start off with a survey when registration. When they come and register the kids every year, if they met a certain qualification, which is not passing certain SOLs, that will automatically qualify them for my program.
Okay.
Then we would also ask teachers and staff within the building who you think needs extra help with whatever.
Yeah.
So that would automatically allow you to come in the program. The program's free. We would just ask them to come every day.
Now, what's the name of that program, and is that program still available?
It's 21st Century. I believe Sandusky Middle still has it. I'm not sure who else in the district does.
Now, is it just for Sandusky or is it for everybody?
No, it was for everybody. Well, whoever wrote a grant at the school.
Yeah, gotcha.
But when COVID hit,
It's messed everything
up. So then I'm not quite sure who has what anymore. So they would just have to reach out to their particular school to see who would have it.
So, folks, I mean, this is the information that we need. You know, like a lot of times people, they want to do better, they just don't have the information.
They don't have it.
So this is good stuff because you're giving people a outlet onto how they can, you know, seek help. Mm-hmm. And it's okay that you need help. You know, I think a lot of people get caught up in the, you know, what he say or what she said. The stereotype. No, it's people needing help, man. I mean, if you're abusing stuff that's set out there for, it's a different story. But you know, don't be ashamed and afraid.
Absolutely
you know
not.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, did you ever have to deal with it? Do you see that a lot?
You definitely see it a lot.
Yeah.
Even in the profession I'm in now, when you have kids that qualify for certain needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
The parents almost shy away from it because they don't want their student or their child to have that label.
Yeah.
And my thing is, why not?
Yeah, it's help.
It helps.
It's help.
There's so many things put in place for the city for us to help in any kind of way, but we just got to have our people to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay with the stereotypes of whatever they need.
Yeah, I mean, and we got a lot of needs.
We do.
So we want to thank you for those programs that you had then because, like, when I went over there, I mean, I was proud of you because I was looking at you like, yo, Ebony doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? But it was dope, though. You know what I'm saying? I could just see them babies' faces and how they responded to you and reacted to you, and you were like a real vessel to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell that. And that's a good thing because you can tell that. People and kids especially can tell when you're faking them.
Kids are the number one.
You know they are the number one. They can tell when you're faking them. They are the number one.
They can definitely tell it. They know who's there for them, who's not, who's genuine, who's not, who's there for a paycheck or not. They'll tell you.
No doubt. And now you're a school teacher, full-time school teacher, and you're teaching special ed?
Special education and Algebra 1.
Okay, now, we'll talk about that as well. But you got some of those kids that are following you from your school to that. So you're actually getting a chance to see their development.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Talk about that.
So
that's dope.
That is probably one of the best feelings as well. You get to see how, when I had the middle schoolers, I always try to prepare them for the next step. I'm not preparing you for right now. I want to see you in 5 years and know that I did my job.
No doubt.
So then being at the high school is 4 years later, 3 years later, whatever the case may be, you just see that growth in them, that maturity. And they're eager to do it. It's not something that we have to force them anymore. We don't have to hold their hand. This is something that they're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of the coolest things, being a teacher and moving from the middle school to the high school. So that transition is pretty dope.
Now, when I came back and I was coaching the class, I worked with special ed. I worked with wheelchair kids, and then when I was at TC Miller, I taught math and ABCs and all that stuff.
Okay.
You know, they just gave me a job so I could coach. But,
so you can coach, right?
But you know, that's why I think where I got attached to them kids at, because you know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, these kids are amazing, and just to see them learning and see that progression. But talk to me about, you know, now that these kids are to you, all right? Talk to, and now they're to you. Talk to us about and you've seen that growth. Talk to us about the biggest misconceptions of kids with learning disabilities, special ed kids and stuff like that. Tell us the biggest misconception.
A misconception of the kids with special needs is that they can't do it, or they can't do it by themselves, or they're not going to be able to do it past a certain point. Our kids with special needs are probably one of the coolest sets of people you ever run into.
No doubt.
They're eager to learn. They need that structure. You give it to them. Any kind of service that you need to provide for them, they accept it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know.
Very smart, intelligent kids.
Very smart, intelligent kids. They can function just like how we do. It's nothing called normal to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, that's one thing I definitely wanted you to, shed your light on, because like I said, you watch these kids that people said they didn't have any type of thing going on, and they couldn't be, and they couldn't do, and and they couldn't, but you guys, you and your crew, you made it so that these kids could learn. You gave them a better way to learn, and like you just gave them hope. So now they're there. Now you're seeing them, their progression, like it's crazy. So with that, what do you accredit your top quality to being to help situations like that? What's your top quality?
I'm just passionate.
That's it, passion. Passion will take you a long way.
It'll take you a long way.
It'll take you a long way, but at the end of the day, I watched you put in some work. I've seen your post. I've seen you in action, like I said. So, yeah, you can have the passion for it, but the action behind the passion is
detrimental. It's hand in hand.
It's definitely where it needs to be. Like it can go either way. Like you say, it could be detrimental, or it could be what it is with you now. So, without saying any names or anything, tell us some of the biggest things that you've seen them, like some of the kids develop into because of your tutelage.
One of the most simplest things that you could look at as a compliment is graduating.
Yeah.
I mean, we take that for granted.
Yeah, we do.
But some kids, that's like all they're leaning towards is just to be able to graduate.
Yeah.
So they've been able to graduate. Some kids are able to read and write on the actual grade level.
Yeah.
Because we'll get a lot of kids that just aren't to the level that they're supposed to be at, and that's fine. Because that's our job as educators, to try to figure out how to get you to learn that way.
Yeah.
So reading and writing, being able to speak in front of people, graduating, actually going to college, and it could be 4-year, it could be CBCC, it could be anything, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
We work on transition programs as well, so transitioning from being a high schooler to an adult.
Wow.
So
don't stop. So some of these kids actually go to college, right? And like, what is that like? Like, what is that transition like? I guess
it could be seamless. Because again, some kids you don't know. You will never know unless you see that they have IEPs or 504s, and you will not know that they have any need at all. So it's just like me and you. However we make it to college, if we want to go to a vocational school, if we want to learn a trade or whatever, it's just the same as me and you.
No doubt. Now, you don't have to answer this because I know you are still in a professional environment.
Okay.
What are some of those things that bother you about the way the kids are handled, or the way situations with the kids are handled? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I got fed up, and I ain't even going to tell where, but there was a kid in a wheelchair, man. They was messing with him, moving this thing around, like jerking him back and forth. So I came back, the kid smacked the boy's hand. The teacher saw it, they suspended the kid in the wheelchair. I said, you know what? It's no way I can be a part of that.
Right.
It's no way. So talk to us a little bit about, like I said, you don't have to, but...
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with me is us as adults tend to forget what it's like to be a child.
Righteous.
And we got these degrees, we got these letters, we got all these accomplishments, but we just forget what it means to be sometimes a kid that don't know who they are, where they are. They struggling from whatever they got going on. We just have to meet them at their own level. Yeah. If we have discipline, we need to stick to it.
Yeah. Because school teachers, it's just like the track and field. It's just like the track and field in the sports world. Like with a team. Like, you can't... A great coach, this is my opinion, a great coach can teach 53 things, 53 different ways. Because I can't come to you and be like yelling at you because it ain't gonna do nothing for you. But I can yell at this person that's going to set him off to where he's going to do what we got.
Mm-hmm. You have to learn them.
Yeah, you got to learn it. And I think that's where, and I'm not there, so I'm not going to sit there and talk about what nobody doing on their job. Mm-hmm. But just the results and talking, I formulated an opinion that like sometimes, that some teachers, some people that's working in they're there just like you said for the paycheck. Mm-hmm. And it's no passion, it's no real concern, am I make sure my check in there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I know you've been around that and some of that type of thing, but how do we as parents, how do you counteract that?
I think the biggest thing with educators as well, I mean...
Yeah, educators, and the only reason I'm saying that because, the first thing, when a parent think their kid wrong, they running up in there. Right. Nah, it's a way to do it.
It's a way to do it.
And then if you don't get that, you settle, and then you rah-rah.
Right.
Let's speak on that.
So with teachers and educators, and I can only speak for Lynchburg City Schools, but I know it's happening all over the country. We are burnt out.
No doubt.
So you have times when you're supposed to be planning, but you're covering a class period, you haven't ate lunch yet, you haven't even used the bathroom yet, then you have kids hollering in the background. So it's intense. It's an intense world right now. COVID come around, you can only do a certain amount of things in a certain amount of space. You have to have your mask on. You got to make sure everybody hears you, but some kids can't hear you. So you have to figure out a lot of things at the same time. So I totally get some of the frustrations from the parents, from the teacher side. But from my perspective is, if you don't like your profession, you can always find a new one.
No doubt. It's a job.
It's a job.
And everything that's going on, you are required to perform the same job.
At any time, any place, wherever. You could be on the grocery store. You could be at a game, you could be in a classroom, you could be in the building. You will always be an educator.
No doubt.
No
doubt. And now, like I said, that you've seen some of these kids go, how do you like teaching special ed?
I love it.
Full-time teacher at the special ed level. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I thought I was going to be really nervous about it because I just have, mixed opinions at times. But I actually love every minute of it. The frustrating parts, the great parts, the happy parts, the sad parts, I love every minute of it.
So basically, when you see them kids shine, that makes it all worth it.
All worth it.
Always makes it all worth it. And, when you at Heritage, you at Heritage, right?
I am.
You at Heritage, and, it's a lot of going on. Great football team, you know what I'm saying? Good basketball team. They got a lot of track team, dope track. Oh, yeah, they state champion in doubt.
Yep.
But, yeah, you got all those big things going around. Mm-hmm. How does someone in your class, do you have anybody in your class that may possibly be playing any type of sports or anybody that you interact with? And how does that, what's the transition like with that?
I think, because I do have kids that are football and track, and I might have a few basketball players, but in any other sport, I'm not sure. We got ROTC, all kind of stuff. Yeah. Once they realize that I used to be in sports, when I used to run track. Oh, you went to JF. Oh, you ran track at JF. I went to JF and seen your picture on the wall. Once they realize that they have that connection with me, it's so much easier.
It means a lot.
And they know that they can tell who's genuine, who's not. They can tell if I'm telling the truth or not. They can always and then at that point you have them. They'll be able to do anything you want them to do. And they'll be eager to because they know it's true.
Yeah, and I get that part because the only reason DreKen is at William and Mary, as far as what school he selected, is because of the coaching staff. And this one in particular, shout out my dog Rossell Dollar. Rossell, he treated, with him and the coach told me when we got there, it's happening today. He just pulled my boy to the side the other day, just saw him kind of funny. He knew he was hurt. He's been there before. It wasn't about football. It was about keep your mind in the game. You know what I'm saying? While you down, get you some extra study on book. This is how you get over. And I appreciated that as a parent. So, what are some of the things, that parents really appreciate you for? What is some of the responses you get from the parents through your work?
I guess the biggest response is just communication. I just a firm believer in the more conversations you have, less confrontations you have.
No doubt.
The more that I talk to you, good or bad, I'll be able to build that relationship with you. So if I do have something not so quite good to call you about, we'll be able to talk about it, straighten it out. The kids respect it, the parents will respect it. So I'm a true believer in just building true relationships.
Yeah, and it gotta happen, because this generation right here, man. I mean,
tough.
It's tough. And it's tough because, and no disrespect to nobody, but we all know what time it is. We all know people like that, but it's a difference in the upbringing. Mm-hmm. It was respect. Mm-hmm. You know, even if you was wrong, even if you right, you still had to respect.
Right.
You had to respect your elders. And now it just seems like these kids is taking on the personality of their parents, but it's not a good one.
Right.
Because they see confrontation all the time. Mm-hmm. They're so confrontational. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me nothing. You can't do, you ain't my mama. Come on. And then you get some of these parents that come to the school and justify it. Like, try to justify, like, I don't get that. So, you know, like I said, you got a lot of techniques and ways to, you know, smooth stuff out and make sure that everybody is on their P's and Q's and everybody in the same lane. So, like, what are you doing different? Because you are reaching a lot of people, so I'm just trying to get the information out for somebody that might be able to look at it and be like, well, let me try it her way, you know?
I think the biggest thing, like I said before, I'm so willing to talk to parents. I'm an open book.
Yeah.
And I realize that every person is different.
Yeah.
Every household is different. I can't think of it the same way I would because I have to think about it the way they would.
Yeah.
So I always make sure I don't get so caught up on where I am here that I can't understand anybody here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Once I realize the situation, again, I just talk to them.
Yeah.
I've always been consistent. I've always been genuine. Always been passionate about my job. So I just have to maintain that person, just so we can be able to communicate.
No doubt.
I just treat them how I want to be treated.
Yeah. And, you know, I know you're available for parents that's watching or somebody that's watching for to be able to contact you at Heritage High School, Miss Ebony Foster. You can contact her for any information, and I know it's confidential. So, you know, use these resources, man. This ain't just here. We ain't just on these shows just to be, you know, like just to be a YouTuber or whatever. Like, this is informational. You know, we got, like, you know, my lane is football. You know, my lane is sports, period. And I use that. I don't try to get into no politics. I never do politics on the show.
Either.
Never will do politics. Never. Two things I never do. Never do politics on the show. Never downgrade a kid on the show.
Okay.
You know, I two things I won't do. But I bring on athletes and I bring on business owners and I bring on people with stories because, like, we all got a story. You know what I'm saying? We all got something that we can help. You know, that we can help with somebody along the way. Again, I always say, you can't tell me nothing unless you've been through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't tell me how. I ain't come to you to talk to you about flying an airplane if you ain't never flew an airplane. Right. So with that being said, like, how do you? And we're gonna get back to your other stuff, but what would be your main number one point that you would want to get across to a parent that's have a kid that's struggling, or even not even a special ed kid, but any kid, period, because all our babies need help.
The biggest thing that I would want to convey to a parent is that any problem that you have, if I don't have the answer right then, I'm going to figure it out. Or if I can't figure it out, I'm going to ask somebody who can. It takes a village to raise somebody.
That's it. It takes a village.
It takes a village. So if somebody has a different expertise than I will, then I'll definitely reach out to them. Anything with sports related, I ask you. Anything about finances, I ask you, because that's what you came and talked to my after school kids about. So I think we just have to put our pride down to the side, and if we need help, ask it on every level.
That's it. That's it. Putting that pride to the side. But yeah, you're doing a wonderful job. And like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with you when I came to you up there. I mean, you was in control. You had everything rocking. I appreciate it. So. We got that part, but you know what I am, man. I'm a sports dude too, so we gotta go back to this sports because, like, really, I don't know no 4-time All-American and nothing that came from right here. I mean, you know, now, you know, I really don't. I mean, I know the Verberg, he was an Olympic guy and stuff like that, but I don't know if he had as many All-Americans or he hit the scene running like you. I don't know, but to make a long story short. We haven't had a lot of athletes like college 4-year All-American, ACC champ. We ain't talking about no D1, I mean D2, D3 school. We talking about Division I Power 5 school.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, just talk to us, to the people, that the viewers. I watch track and field, but I don't know everything in the point system and stuff like that. But just talk to us about what it takes to get that. You know, what do you have to accomplish? Hard work, everybody got that. But I'm talking about what are some of the events and all that stuff that you got to do so you can be who you are.
When I was at NC State, you have a choice to make. You can either run track and field or you can be track and field. That means you eat, breathe, and sleep track and field. You wake up in the mornings, like I said, you had the 5 o'clock workouts, the preseason. You gotta sometimes run mileage, and I'm a 12-second runner. Yeah. So I mean, you would have to do things totally out of the norm to be successful and to be a part of the 3% of athletes that go to the next level, because that's a slim chance. But in order to be that person, you have to become the sport.
Yeah.
It isn't a certain event that we would do to qualify for certain things, but you would just have to be the best at whatever it is you do.
No doubt.
So again, I started off sprinting, but then again, I was getting ate up.
Yeah.
They were about to send me home, right? They were about to send me home. So in order for me, my last hurrah is to do the event that has the seven events in track.
Okay.
And one of the events was hurdles.
Okay.
So I had 3 days to learn hurdles,
Wow.
and then I had the track meet. And if I didn't do well at the track meet, I was going home.
I was gonna pack you up.
Joyce was not finna see me at the house, so I had to get there. I had to figure it out.
Yeah, you had to figure it out. So you just dug in and did what you had to do. Mm-hmm. Man, that's crazy. Like, I mean, you hear about some of the things, like far as with the athletes getting paid in school for before they could do it. And before we go to that, I'm gonna ask you this.
Okay.
Because I always wonder this. What really could you have been? How much better? I mean, if you could have got any better, if you would have had today's technology, today's thing, because it seems like everybody getting bigger, faster, stronger.
Everybody getting bigger, faster, stronger. I know when we first started gaining a lot of different speed and strength and stuff is when we had the facility just grow. Yeah. Our facility was just football and basketball, and then when they started becoming bigger, we got bigger because we got to ride off of their coattails with all the technology. We got to do the running in the pool and all the different weight machines and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was pretty cool.
It was definitely cool. It was
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and again, man, I mean,
I don't know what we could, if we were in today's time.
That's it. Because, I mean, I always think, man, if you look like I got these big shoulder pads
big
on.
Shoulder pads.
Now they got the little shoulder pads, the little tight pants that can move. Now, I mean, it's just like, I ask all the athletes, like, what could you have done if in today's
would be phenomenal.
Time? No doubt. I mean, we was phenomenal. But at the same time, it's just like you seeing all these like crazy times now. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't know the point system, but I know who fast and I know who win. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I know those type of things, but man, it's just like all now things are just over. So who is the? Everybody says Sha'Carri Richardson, but there's a lot of people out there that's feeding her lunch, but she gonna be back.
She coming back.
Yeah, she gonna come back. So with her, what you think her biggest issue was?
She needs a squad. Yeah. She needs a team around her that's so strong that they're not gonna let her fail by no means.
No doubt.
I'm not saying I have no clue what her setup is now, but I know when you see successful people, you don't see a lot of failure in it.
Yeah.
It seems like that team is well built. Just like Allison Felix, you don't see nothing. From the time she came from high school to straight track, straight professionals. Yeah. She had a team with her.
No doubt.
So I think if she gets fine-tuned, she have a good squad with her, she hang around like people who reach the same potential as her. Her being around the Usain Bolts and Allison Felix would be a great mentor. I mean, she needs somebody like that in her life.
She needs somebody like that.
Because she's super young.
Yeah, she is. And you people... Well, we ain't gonna make an excuse. Don't make no excuse for her. Yeah, come on, man. Like, for real, that girl's people's died. I mean, you never know how stuff affects you, man.
You don't until you
She smoked the joint. I mean, you know, I mean, I get it. It was wrong, and I don't think she should have been there because it was the rule.
Right.
You know, I don't. You know, she knew the rule.
She knew the rule. Exactly.
But at the same time, let's don't condemn this girl when she was going. She's 21.
She's 21.
And she's going through real life. I mean, like, I know when I lost my mama at 43. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I fell off for a minute, had to scramble to get away from here, scramble my like eggs, get it back together. You know what I'm saying? So I can imagine how it was with her. But you know, like, we got a couple of more minutes. So in closing, I want to know a couple of who was your biggest rival? That's one thing. As an individual, who was somebody that person that you wanted to beat, that y'all battled? Because I know y'all knew each other pretty well from each schools. And then talk about the team's biggest rival.
I can start with the team.
Okay, start with the team.
Well, you know, we went to NC State. We can't stand no Tar Heels. You know what I'm saying? We cannot stand anybody with the baby blue.
I understand.
I guess that would be our biggest rival.
Yeah.
Individually.
You gotta cheer for Zach Rice though. You gotta cheer. Even though he at Carolina, he Lynchburg home.
That's it. If he Lynchburg home,
you got
he'd still be my dog. I'll cheer for him. No doubt. But individually, we ran against some college or pro?
Both. Who was the big names? Let's talk about them. You know we do it big on the DreKenTalk show, baby. You know how we get down.
So when I was in college, they had Virginia Powell.
Okay.
She went to University of Southern Cal. We had Nelson. What's that? Dawn Harper. She went to UCLA.
Okay.
Every time we seen each other, it was a battle.
Yeah.
You never knew.
Yeah.
What's another little girl's name? I can't remember. I mean, well, we had Kelly Wells was probably one of my favorite people on the track. She's from Virginia. She ended up getting the third in the Olympics.
Okay.
We had a bunch of fun going back and forth, and that was the type of fun where you knew it was just a good battle about to happen.
Competition.
You see them, and you already knew what was going to happen.
No doubt.
Professional, we had Gail Divas.
Whoo! Boots! She smoked you?
Did she? And you know what? Afterwards, I took my bib off and I said, "Can you please sign my
No
bib?"
doubt.
Yeah,
you know
it's respect.
It's respect. You got to respect the game. You got to respect.
That's just like trading jerseys in football, right?
And I'm going to tell a story.
Okay.
I'm going to tell a story. It's crazy. I was in Florida and I got invited to a card party. So I went to the card party, but when I got to the card party, it was just 2 people in there.
Oh, geez.
It was 4 people in there, but it was 2 males, 2 females. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I guess the party over. So, boom. The dude was like, yeah, we finished playing. And I was like, I'm out. So the person moved out the way. Guess who the bed was on the couch?
What, Drake? Who was it?
It was Lawrence Taylor. I had to get his heart like that.
LT?
The original. When I got in the car, I laughed. It's like, yo, that didn't just happen, yo. It was crazy. It was like when I first got to Florida. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But LT, the dog. You know what I'm saying? You either got Ray or LT.
Right.
That's who it is with
right.
me. And like to see him, but you know, at the same time, man, I respected that man enough to be like, yo, dog, man, you my favorite. You know what I'm saying? You one of my favorites, man. Yeah. And I don't get shit. You know, the only person I ever been like starstruck by was Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? That's the only person.
I can see it.
And then, you know, the more the next two or three times I hung out, like when I was around him, it was cool because he was a normal dude, but at the same time, that's MJ. I respect you.
Right.
Now I paid $100 for a picture with Michael Jordan.
That's it. I too.
But I had beat him for the $100 because we was betting on the game. We was betting on the game, play for play. So I was just like, shoot, man, that's Michael Jordan. I'm betting. So he had me there $200. I got back my $100, and I was like, yo, Mike, man, you mind if I get a picture? Yeah, give me the $100. Here you go. Is that all you need?
Right.
But yeah, but you know, it's that respect thing, man.
It is.
And that's one thing I'm seeing that's kind of lacking in our city. You got these athletes. You don't have to like them on the field.
Right.
But you ain't got to hate on him.
No, no.
Respect that man's craft.
It's a game.
You know what I'm saying? Respect that man's craft because at the end of the day, he might be one of your big fans. You know, and
you don't know what you can learn from each other.
You don't know what you can learn.
You never
from
know
each
what you need from him.
That man might be able to show you something to get you where you trying to be. You know, and that's the thing about it, man. The respect thing. You know, you got folks around here that that's done a lot of amazing things, and not just in the sports world.
Right.
It's not, but and they need, like I said, I like to give people their flowers while they here.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? If you do something for me, people like, oh, let's do it on the low. Nah, man. Because if you did something wrong, they're going to do it on the high.
Right.
You feel me?
You right.
So I'm going to give you your flowers. Appreciate you, man. This ain't just coming from me. This is a community thing. That's what the Take a Village thing is about.
Right.
You know, but, you know, Ebony, man, it's been a awesome interview. I wish you could stay longer. You know what I'm saying, man?
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely come back and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? In closing, Ebony, just take us out. Whatever you want to talk about, you can talk about the school, help, college, whatever you want. I'm gonna let you go out the EB way.
Thank you for putting
Motivation. Motivation.
Okay, I guess my biggest thing is we've already covered a lot of the good things. If you need help, ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't be prideful to the point where you just feel like you can't. Just ask for help in any avenue.
No doubt.
If you find you need a certain resource, we can find those for you. Kids, just stay on point. You never know who's looking. You never know who's watching. You never know if you grow up 5 years from now that you're going to see somebody that you met and they have that same image of you from the past. So just make sure your image is good. Do what you got to do. Stay in school.
Stay in school. You heard it from 4-time. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's only 4 times All-American. 5-time ACC champ. Now, community worker, school teacher, mother, Miss Ebony Foster. We out. Thank you guys for watching DreKenTalk. Be on the lookout for more exclusive content. Like, share, subscribe. DreKenTalk out.